If you want to get your hair goals sooner rather than later, these are my top length retention tips that has helped me to retain so much length and actually reach my hair goals. So this is a video you do not want to skip, and just do these things and you'll be good. So the first thing you have to do is to reduce manipulation on your hair, because your hair is growing. It's just that you're not retaining length, and that's why you have a shorter hair or you're experiencing stagnant growth. So what you want to do is find a good protective hairstyle. I have a video talking about protective hairstyles, and one thing I would say is know what type of hair you have. Whether you have fine hair or thick hair, it helps you to pick out a good protective hairstyle for your particular hair. For me, I have fine hair, so I tend to go for protective hairstyles that do not require extensions or anything that will weigh down on my hair, because my hair strands are fine and they can easily snap off or break off. So I tend to go for hairstyles that do not have extensions. I have so many videos on hairstyles you can try with just your natural hair. I have so many of them. I'm going to link it for you. And another thing I would say is how you're putting in your protective hairstyle. You need to make sure that you're not applying tension or so much tension to your hair, because you're also going to break your hair if you're not putting in that protective hairstyle right. One thing I've done is learning how to make my hair, and that's one way I've been able to retain more length, because I'm careful with my hair and I know what I'm doing. So if you have a hairstylist that is good with natural hair, or just learning to take care of your hair yourself or make your hair something that you can do to help this journey and help yourself to retain length, this is something that I would definitely recommend you trying out hairstyles by yourself, and just you making your hair by yourself to reduce that tension and manipulation, especially if you do not have a good hairstylist that can help you with this. The next thing I'm going to say is leaving your protective hairstyles for longer periods. Most people do not keep their protective hairstyles for a long period, like at most 2 weeks, 3 weeks. They're changing their hairstyles. This is increasing the manipulation on your scalp, and this is causing hair loss, breakage. Like, you manipulating your hair a lot is causing your hair to break off, and that's why you're experiencing stagnant growth. So you need to make sure that your hair is staying for longer periods. And also, based on research, our hair grows half an inch to an inch every month. So if you're constantly changing your hairstyles, in the span of a month you've made like 2 hairstyles, you're not giving your hair time for it to retain length and for your hair to actually retain that, for your hair to grow and for you to retain that length. You're just switching up your hairstyle, so you're just breaking your hair, and that's why you're not seeing that longer hair, or you're not experiencing length retention. So one thing I would say is keeping your hair for 3 to 2 months. That's my recommended time. I don't recommend you keeping it longer, because at the end of the day you want to make sure that your hair doesn't get matted up or tangled. And that will lead me to my next point. When your hair is in that protective hairstyle, that doesn't mean you're going to neglect your hair or not take care of it. Your routine is very important in this process, because at the end of the day, if you do not take care of your hair, it's going to break off. And one thing you should know is that dry hair breaks, regardless if it's in a protective hairstyle. Your hair is in a protective hairstyle, that's good, but you need to make sure that you're taking care of your hair. You need to make sure you're washing your hair, doing your routine, deep conditioning, your moisture routine. All of that is very important in this process. And also, if you're finding it hard, I also do a challenge on my channel where I keep my protective hairstyle for 2 to 3 months, and I share my journey. I give you updates so that we can all be accountable, be accountability partners, and also help this journey, because I'm also on this journey of length retention and retaining my hair length. I'm also closing into my second challenge. My first challenge was 2 months, and this second challenge is 3 months, and it's going to be over soon in this month. So that's one thing I would say, is that make sure that you always focus on your routine. Keep your protective hairstyles for longer periods. I always recommend 2 to 3 months. And also, if you're confused on the routine that you should do, I have a detailed video on my moisture routine. But one thing I would say is that make sure your hair or your scalp is always clean. When it comes to taking care of your protective hairstyle, one thing I'll say is scalp health and your ends are very important. Your scalp health, because you need to make sure your scalp is clean to create a good environment for new hair growth, and your ends, because they're the oldest part of your hair, and you need to make sure that they are always moisturized and they are not dry. So just keep up your routine. Wash your hair once every 2 weeks, and do your routine, like your moisture routine, anytime your hair is feeling dry. It doesn't have to be a specific time, especially depending on your your hair porosity. For now, I have high porosity hair, so I tend to do my moisture routine like once or twice every week, depending on how my hair's feeling. I go with how my hair's feeling. And one thing I would say is that go with how your hair's feeling at that particular time. It doesn't have to be like a scheduled thing, but make sure that you're always washing your hair. You're washing your hair once every 2 weeks. You do not want to overwash your hair, guys. And that's one thing I would say. Make sure that you do not neglect your protective hairstyle, and make sure you're keeping your protective hairstyle for longer periods so that you can be able to retain that new growth you got and not just over manipulating your hair. So the last thing I'm going to talk about is your takedown process. So you've kept your protective hairstyle for 2 to 3 months or maybe longer, which I do not recommend. But now your takedown process is one of the vital thing to this length retention. If you do this incorrectly, you can experience so much hair loss, hair breakage, and damage to your natural hair. So you need to make sure that you are patient. One thing I would say is that this is not something you're going to do in a hurry. So if you have somewhere to go after doing this and you're rushing, trust me, just leave that hair and do whatever you want to do. Do not rush this process because you can damage your hair. So I will say that because you have your new growth has been there for 2 to 3 months, so it can experience a lot of matted hair or tangles. So I will say that make sure you go in with a liquid based product first off to make sure that that place is moisturized and it's not dry. And don't ever take down your hair when it's in a dry state. That's one thing I'll say. Make sure you have some form of liquid product or any like water. If you don't have a conditioner or a liquid based product, just go in with water, conditioner to have some form of sleep when you're taking this down. And always make sure that you're not using detangling brushes or combs or anything to like run through your hair. Just use your fingers. I always recommend you using your fingers because you can feel where the knots are on your hair. I always recommend finger detangling because it's way easier and you experience less breakage or hair loss when you're doing this. And also do not be alarmed if you see your hair coming off. That's shedding. Everybody's hair sheds like 100 strands every day. So you've kept your hair for 2 to 3 months, so you definitely see a decent amount of hair. So just make sure. That's why I'm always saying that take care of your hair when it's in a protective hairstyle, because at the end of the day you do not want to experience excessive shedding. So excessive shedding happens when your hair is always dry or you're not taking care of your scalp. That's when you experience that, which is not normal. So that's why I always say take care of your hair even if it's in a protective hairstyle. So after making sure that your hair is not dry, you've gone in with your liquid based product, you've gone in with your conditioner. So you need to make sure you're taking this down your hair slowly. Feel where the knots are. Be careful, be gentle. That's why I said that this is not something you're going to do when you're in a hurry. This is something that you need to be patient when you're doing this. And trust me when I say that the growth I got from this challenge, this was my first challenge. This was my first challenge. When was this? I think it was in June. No, I think it was March, April. I think it was May I started this challenge because it was 2 months. So that's May, June, July, May, something like that. But this was my first challenge. And when I tell you that my hair, I saw myself retaining so much length. So this is like my basic. There are a lot of things out there that you can watch. But trust me, if you do these things I've mentioned in this video, it's like the basic thing. When it comes to natural hair, it's not hard to take care of your natural hair. But people are overwhelmed with the information out there, so it can be really overwhelming. But trust me when I say that, just stick to the basics and you'll be fine. There are a lot of other things that happen when it comes to hair treatment or doing some certain things to your hair just to strengthen and improve your hair overall, which is in a separate video. But for length retention, these are the basic things that you need to know. It's not something that is very hard. It's something that you can do, and trust me when I say that you would definitely see changes to your hair. This is something that I've been doing and I've seen changes to my hair. So if you want to reach your hair goals, this is something that you definitely want to try. And also you can subscribe to my channel so that you get notified on my next challenge or the challenge I'm currently on. I always say that you're never too late to join in on the challenge. So make sure you subscribe, leave a comment. Let me know that if this video was helpful, or any form of questions you have, I answer all my comments, my questions. Just leave a question. If you have anything that you want to share, just leave that in the comment section. And thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, like, leave a comment, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye.